The eyes of that species of extinct giant, whose bones fill the mounds of America, have gazed on Niagara as our eyes do now. Abraham Lincoln. As far back as North American history goes, there's tales of giants all throughout the land, proving the biblical narrative of Nephilim and giants in the earth in those days. I'm going to cover some of that history in this video, as well as a recent video I came across showing megalithic structures of massive size in Montana. First, I'll get into some of the history of giants in North America. The Paiutes, a Native American tribe indigenous to parts of Nevada, have an oral tradition that they've told to early white settlers of the area about a race of red-haired white giants, or barbarians, that their ancestors referred to as the Si-Te-Ka. The story was written down in 1882 by Sarah Hopkins, daughter of a Paiute Indian chief, in her book Life Among the Paiutes, Their Wrongs and Claims. The oral tradition goes that the Paiutes were warring with these giants and joined together with other tribes to exterminate the giants out of their land. The Paiutes claim that one day they chased the last remaining red-haired giants into a cave, Lovelock Cave. They demanded that the giants come out of the cave, but the giants refused. The tribe went on to start a large fire at the mouth of the cave. The smoke drove out a few of them, in which the Paiutes shot a hail of arrows at them. The fire and smoke proceeded to burn alive or asphyxiate the giants that remained in the cave. In 1886, a mining engineer from Lovelock named John T. Reed was told of the legend by local Indians, who took him to the site to prove that it existed. Reed wanted to get an archaeological dig started, but two miners realized that there was a vast amount of guano in the cave, a main ingredient for gunpowder, and created a company extracting the guano. While extracting the guano, the miners found tons of artifacts. They later contacted the California Anthropology Department, who came out and did excavation digs in which they found approximately 10,000 archaeological specimens, including tools, bones, baskets, and weapons. It's rumored that the bones of two large giants was found within the cave, a claim that was later denied by the archaeologists doing the dig, but one of the most interesting finds in my opinion is a sandal they found over 15 inches long. Some people exploring the cave in 2013 found what looked to be a massive handprint way larger than the average man's hand. The cave is now considered a historical site in Nevada. Deuteronomy 128 talks about giants in the land in the ancient days. And it says, "Where can we go up? Our brethren have discouraged our hearts, saying, the people are greater and taller than we. The cities are great and fortified up to heaven. Moreover, we have seen the sons of the Anakim there." Anakim were known to be a race of giants linked to the Nephilim. We also have many other accounts of giant skeleton bones found in mounds all across America. Lake Delavan in Wisconsin is one of those locations, where it's said in reference to a mound there, quote, "In it was found the skeleton of a man of gigantic size. The bones measured from head to foot over 9 feet and were in fair state of preservation. The skull was as large as half a bushel measure. Some finely tempered rods in copper and other relics were lying near the bones." Briefly worth mentioning is, why would these historical sites, these museums, these colleges, all these different organizations hide the discovery of these giant bones? Well, first off, because it completely demolishes the widely talked about and taught belief system of evolution at the time, and it also goes against the fact that at the time they were trying to spread the narrative that Native Americans were savages, unlearned, weren't pretty much at even the same level of a human being, so we could just destroy their mounds, take their land, and this was another reason why the cover-up exists. Ohio is also known for having tons of mound works in it. At the end of the colonial period, it's said that 10,000 mounds existed in Ohio. Less than 1/20th of these exist today in reconstructed form. These are the types of mounds that were said by Abraham Lincoln to have been built by giants that were later to discover to actually hold the bones of giants as well. Here's a New York Times article from May 5th, 1885, "Skeleton 7 feet long in Centerburg, Ohio." Or another New York Times article, March 5th, 1894, "Giants of Other Days, Recent Discoveries Near the Serpent Mound in Ohio." Or this article from May 12th, 2003, "Mystery Still Surrounds Ohio County Bones," in reference to 1872, when a skeleton was found that was said to be over 10 feet tall. In the article, it mentions another reference to the finding of giant bones, in which they found the lower jawbone, and when fitted over the lower portion of a man's face in the party of the explorers, it completely covered it. Between this and the length from the hip bone to the knee indicates that the giant was over 10 feet tall. Another uncommon Bible verse in reference to giants is Deuteronomy 2:20-21. That was also regarded as a land of giants. Giants formerly dwelt there, but the Ammonites called them Zamzummim, a people as great and numerous and tall as the Anakim, but the Lord destroyed them before them, and they dispossessed them and dwelt in their place. Two more references of giants from Native American tribes that I want to mention are from the Navajo and the Comanches. Dr. Donald Panther Yates, a researcher and author of books on Native American history, writes that a Native American legend describes, quote, a regal race of white giants endowed with mining technology who dominated the West, enslaved lesser tribes, and had strongholds all throughout the Americas. They were extinguished or, quote, went back to the heavens. An interesting reference because, as we know, the fallen angels, the father of the giants, came from the heavens, cast down from heaven above. Chief Rolling Thunder of the Comanches, a tribe from the Great Plains, gave an account of an ancient race of white giants in 1857. Quote, innumerable moons ago, a race of white men, 10 feet tall, and far more rich and powerful than any white people now living, here inhabited a large range of country, extending from the rising to the setting sun. Their fortifications crowned the summits of the mountains, protecting their populous cities situated in the intervening valleys. They excelled every other nation which flourished, either before or since, in all manner of cunning handicraft, were brave and warlike, ruling over the land that they had wrestled from its ancient possessors with a high and haughty hand. There's also reference to a type of giant living in the north of Canada. Legends from the Nahanni Valley, the Nakani known as the Wild Man of the North. Here's a quote from Philip Godsell from The Curse of Dead Man's Valley in 1950. Quote, that he had nowhere seen the slightest Indian sign bore out of the redskin reports that the country was taboo and recalled their superstitions that it was haunted by a race of prehistoric troglodytes or Nakanis with repulsive gargoyle-like faces who lived in caves cut from living rock. Creatures reported to be twice the size of ordinary humans who never missed a chance to carry off unweary hunters and stray squaws in their powerful gorilla-like arms. There's really only two options when it comes to the reports of giants in North America and throughout all the lands of the world, and it's either that everybody was making these stories up, all these civilizations that had no contact with each other, or they were actually encountering giants in the land. Certain megalithic structures all across the world prove, in my opinion, to have been built by fallen angels and their offspring, the giants. Just these sites and the size of these stones and the precision of these stones seem to be absolutely impossible with just the knowledge of ancient humans. And I recently came across a video of what looks to be megalithic structures in the state of Montana. The YouTube channel Wandering Wolf posted a video where he shows what looks to be a megalithic wall at Sage Mountain Center in Montana. The official narrative for this structure is that it's natural, but when you look at the precision, the cuts, how straight the wall is, it really looks as if it was built there. And this again, in my opinion, would prove to be evidence of Nephilim and their offspring, the giants, in North America. Here you can see just how precisely straight this wall is in reference to all the bundles of stones all around them, which very likely could be the collapsed stones of old structures. But the straightness of this wall just seems to be completely unnatural. We also see different stones here that look to be where people were actually working in them, doing some type of stonework or something. We see similar things in different locations at megalithic sites around the world. And a super interesting thing as well is that some of these stones look to have knobs on them, something that we see at other megalithic sites around the world. This is a super interesting video. I will leave this linked in the description, but showing the clips there of what looks to be knobs on some of the massive stones there, we can see that that same thing has happened all throughout the world at other megalithic sites. Here we can see the knobs on the stones at Ollanta Tambo. As well, you can see the knobs here on one of the pyramids in Egypt, as well as here on one of the walls in Cusco. Megalithic stones, laser precision. 2 Timothy 3:16-17 says, all scripture is given by inspiration from God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be complete, thoroughly equipped for every good work. Looking through Earth's ancient past at giants, Nephilim, fallen angels, really proves to me to be a proof of the Bible, which is one of the reasons I love to study it, because there's proofs of the Bible in my opinion. This is one of them, prophecy is another one. So the Bible is true. Earth's ancient past validates the stories of the Bible. Seek Jesus Christ and the truth of his word today. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and God bless.